Good morning, Anthony. It's Miss Sinclair. It's Tuesday morning. This is Monday's lesson. And again, I apologize for forgetting to make the video yesterday. So what we did first was we started out with a review of this assignment. We did this assignment actually last week, but when I graded it over the weekend, it was pretty rough. So I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to review this and kind of correct things. So here's what we're going to start with, and we'll just go through these 10 questions real quickly. A size 8 kid's shoe measures 9 2/3 of an inch. So this is how long the shoe is. If we have 5 of those lined up end to end, how many inches would they cover? So one of the things we talked about was just looking at these two numbers. If I have this length 5 times, are there any answers that we can automatically eliminate before we even do the math? And so what we talked about was 9 times 5 is 45. It's a little bit longer than 9, so the answer has to be more than 45. So we can cross this one off right off the bat. That cannot be the right answer. So we now have 3 answers left to choose from, okay? To find the solution, it's 9 2/3 times 5. And you have to remember how we did multiplication of fractions. So we're going to take this mixed number, change it to an improper fraction, 27 plus 2, so that's 29 thirds times 5 over 1. You can go ahead and use a calculator when you're doing this. So 29 times 5, I get 145 over 3. So 145 divided by 3. It's 48 1/3. Okay. Second question. A lot of people missed this one. Most everybody got number 1 correct, but this one a lot of people got wrong, which I thought was kind of strange. But anyway, the record low temperature is -37, and the record high is 109. So what's the difference between the high and low record temperatures? So what I did was I pictured it on a thermometer, and I said, well, this is going to be 109 positive. Here's 0, and here's -37. And we want to know what's the difference between these two numbers. So in order to get that, even though it says difference, what we're looking at is the difference between a positive and a negative. So 109 minus -37. And when you have minus and negative, changes to plus positive. So 109 plus 37 is 146, which is right there. Okay. Local volleyball team runs a concession stand. They can spend $120 to buy popcorn, candy, and drinks. This is what they bought: 95 bags of popcorn at $75 each, 35 bags of candy at $120 each. How much money does the volleyball team have left to spend on drinks? So we start with $120. We have to subtract what they spent on popcorn. We have to subtract what they spent on candy. And whatever's left, they can spend on drinks. Okay, so let's find out what these two numbers are. 95 bags of popcorn at 75 cents each. 95 times 0.75. It's going to cost that, whoops, sorry about that. 95 times 75 cents. That's the amount they spend on popcorn. And the candy was 35 bags at $120 each. 42. So They have to pay for both of these things. So I'm going to start with 120. I'm going to subtract 71.45. Then I'm going to subtract 42. And that's what I have left to buy drinks with. Oops. That's not right. So I got to go back and double check my 71.25. Plus 42. Okay, let's start over. $120. Subtract 71.25. Subtract 42. 675. I knew there was a mistake in there somehow because there was no 655 here. So that's what clued me in that I had a mistake I had to go find. All right. Mrs. Sloan is purchasing 3.4 pounds of trail mix at $4.25 per pound. How much change will she have if she gives the cashier $20? So the first thing we have to figure out is what's going to cost to buy the trail mix. 3.4 pounds times $4.25. That's the cost of the trail mix. I'm going to pay with a $20 bill. So what change will I have left? Here we go. And last but not least, question 5. 24 people in a fitness studio. Whoops. 3/8 of them are lifting weights. 1/3 are cross training, and the remaining people are running. What fraction of the people are running? So let's find out what our fractions look like. So I have 3/8 that are lifting weights, plus 1/3 that are cross training. All right. Now I need common denominators. Okay. So I'm going to look at 8 and 3. I'm going to select 24. And you remember how to convert those over. So between these two, 17 out of the 24 people are already occupied, which means anybody that's left over is what they say the last person was doing, running. So out of 24, 17 plus something is 24. So that's what we did with that paper. Oh, whoops, we have a little bit more to do here on the back. I forgot. The weather report shows the 5-day forecast in St. Paul, Minnesota. What's the sum of the various temperatures over these 5 days? So we have to add all the temperatures. So we're going to start with -6, +3, +4, -2, -1. I didn't show you that. -6, +3, +4, -2, -1. Okay. A 9-pound bag of sugar is being split into containers of 2/3 each. How many containers would there be? So I have whole amount, and I want to split it up into 2/3 of a pound, figure out how many 2/3 there are. How many 2/3 are there in 9? And just a quick reminder about how we divide fractions. Make that look like a fraction. This changes to multiply by the reciprocal. 9 times 3. And half of 27 would be 13 and a half. Okay. Now down here, we want to see which of these drawings represents -5 minus 2. -5 minus 2. So remember, every time there's a negative sign or a subtraction sign, you move to the left on the number line. So we're going to start at 0, and we're going to go left 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go left again 2 more. 1, 2. You look at this one as to compare the two. Here's left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then we go to the right, which means plus 2. So this would actually be -5 plus 2. Okay? This one right here, we're going to the right 5 times, so that would be +5 minus 2. And this one would be -5 minus 5. -5 and then -5 more. Question 9. A spool with 18 feet of ribbon will be cut into 8-inch sections. How many 8-inch sections can you get out of 18 feet? So the first thing, Cody caught this right away, that this is feet and this is inches. So we are going to do division because we're going to take the whole amount of ribbon and cut it into 8-inch sections. We want to know how many 8 inches would be in 18 feet. So we have to convert both of these to the same measurement. So we're going to switch this over to inches because we can't cut feet by inches. So how would we figure out how many inches were in 18 feet? Well, 1 foot is 12 inches. So if I have 18 times 12, that tells me how many inches in 18 feet. So 18 times 12, I get 216 inches of ribbon, and I want to divide that by 8. 216 divided by 8 is 27. And here's the last problem. Okay. Parent-teacher, PTA is raising money for a new swing set. They need this much to buy the swing set. Then they get a $200 donation to go towards the swing set. So they have to subtract the donation. They still have to raise some money. And then the amount that they remain is going to be equally divided among 8 different student groups to raise that much money. So let's start out with the original purchase, $682.56. Now they get a donation of $200, which means they can subtract that much money because that's now in the bank towards this project. So we need to figure out how much do they still have to raise. So now they only have to raise $482.56, and they're going to divide it equally among 8 different student groups. So we're going to take $482.56 and divide that by 8. $482.56 divided by 8. Each student group has to earn $60.32. Okay, so that's what we did at the beginning of class. Second problem that we did was, I'm gonna have to scooch this back down. Okay, so the second problem we did is, this is the rate, let's see, what is it, scale and proportions. So we're going to talk about the first 6 questions here. and we went through these together also. We're going to finish this actually today, so Tuesday will be the finishing. So when you compare these two, what you want to do is you want to take this one, and if you flip it over, you want to see that this side matches this side, and this side matches this side. So you want to twirl them around so you can tell what the ratios are. So the ratios for the big one is going to be 4 to 10, and the small one is going to be 2.5 to 6.2. And the question is, are these going to be equal ratios? Okay, so when we did these, and you'll remember this is quite some time ago, but what we figured was if you cross multiply this way and this way, you get the same answers. Okay, so let's do the multiplication. 4 times 6.2, and I get 24.8. And when I multiply this way, I get 10 times 2.5. I get 25 over here. So those are not equal, right? So it's not similar. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Page 2. Again, you're just going to check your cross multiplication, and you're either going to say yes or no. Yes, it's a proportion. No, it's not a proportion. Okay? So you can go ahead and do that on your own, and you're just going to answer yes or no for all three of these, and just write that. Just do the multiplication part. Like this one is 72, and this one is 72, so part A would be a yes. You can do 2 and 3 by yourself. Okay, here we go. The car travels 360 miles on 12 gallons of gas. At this rate, how many gallons will be used to travel 660 miles? So we have to set up our original ratio, which is going to be miles per gallon, right? So miles per gallon, it says 360 on 12 gallons. So 360 miles on 12 gallons. And then what if it's 660 gallons? So again, gallons is the denominator. Or I'm sorry, miles. If it's going 660 miles. So we solve that the same way we did the others. 660 times 12 is this number. Now, this has to also be that same number if they're equal. So how would I find the missing number? Something, 360 times something will give me this number. So I'm going to take the big number and divide by 360. This ends up being 22. So it'd be 22 gallons. Question 4, proportional reasoning, same thing. 1 inch equals 20 miles. So we're comparing inches to miles. Okay, we know that 1 inch equals 20 miles. So what about 2 inches? That's double, right? What about 1 3/4 of an inch? So it's going to be somewhere between 20 and 40, because 1 3/4 is somewhere here, right? So it's going to be a number between those two. If we know that 1 mile is 20, then what about 3/4 of 20? 1 mile equals 20. What's 3/4 of 20? So 3/4 times 20. You can cross reduce. 15 miles. Nope, I did not do that right. 1, 4, 3, 15. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 1 3/4. So I still have to add back 20. So 1, let me do this again. I'm sorry, Anthony. 1 3/4 of 20. So this is 7/4 times 20. And then cross reduce. 7 times 5 is 35 over 1. So this is 35 miles. And I knew I was wrong because I remember thinking the answer has to be in between 20 and 40. And so 15, once I wrote it down, I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So whenever you find those clues, make sure you ask yourself, did that make sense? Because that's right away what told me I had to go back and double check. Okay, just 2 more problems and then we're going to be done with this for today. Here's cross multiply again. So 6 times 24. And this also has to equal 144. So 36 times something equals 144. So I can take 144, divide by 36 to get that other smaller number. P equals 4. Over here, 1 times 3 is 3. That also has to be 3. So let's go, okay, 3 divided by 6 is 0.5 or 1/2. And if you think about it, this 3 is half of 6. So what's half of 1? Half of 6 is 3. Half of 1 is 0.5 or 1/2. Last one. The ratio of men to women at Sarah's party is 4 to 5. If there are 15 women at the party, how many men are there? And how many guests are there altogether? So let's go back to the beginning. The ratio we're going to set up is men to women. And that ratio is 4 to 5. And then it says, well, what if there are 15 women? So what if this number is a 15? We can find this one, right? So we know there are 12 men and 15 women. And then it says how many guests altogether? And there you go. So go ahead and put all that stuff together. Turn in both pages in Kami. We're going to finish this packet today in class. We're going to start on number 7. So that's what you'll be doing later today. And I promise I will not forget to do a video this time. Hope you're doing okay, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.